Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Gopi Janavallabha Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Yamuna Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Vanachari Yamuna Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Radha Radha Namashi Radha Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jayo Radha Madhava ki, Shri Radha Madhava Hari ki, Nitha Yoga Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today I'm going to speak about something which is kind of, now in the world there is a lot of movements which are trying to present themselves as being spiritual, and now in one way it's mercy of Lord Chaitanya in this Kali Yuga. But if you see in America, it's kind of being, it's a hip, it's kind of cool to be a spiritual, to speak about yoga and to speak about vegetarianism, about chakras, about all these things. Sometimes people speak, they don't know anything, they don't understand anything, which is bad, mislead others. But at the same time, it's kind of in Kali Yuga that there is a steady increase of yoga spiritual people daily in the US and in the world. It's something very hard to believe just because Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years back. So one of the principles or one of the consciousness all these new age groups try to have is this Vandita Samadarshanaha. Means that we are all the same and everybody is my brothers and sisters. This is how people outside, if you go and meet them, pseudo-religious and pseudo-spiritual, they all of them are saying, oh yes, we are all connected and we are all the same. In fact, this is something which you can find in Bhagavad Gita. And if you go into physics, and if you go and study physics or any science, you will see the same principles there. We are actually all connected. We are all brothers and sisters, not only us here in the temple, but everybody in this world. We are all children of God. So there is this verse here in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, I believe verse number 18. Yes. So listen carefully. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmanegavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shrapake Cha Pandita Samadarshinaha. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, See with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, outcast. Purport. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme. For the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Everyone's. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally present and equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as a Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living being. So there is few things which here I would like to mention. So it's nice. It's nice to have this vision, like people in America try to see everybody equally. This is very nice attempt, but that's not easy. We try to see if you're from India, then you like Indians, you don't like some other people, Pakistani maybe, or I don't know, whoever. That's not how the learned Brahmana sees the vision. If you're from, I don't know, if you're from Ireland, maybe you don't like English people who took Northern Ireland, or whatever. So these things are usually bodily concept of life. And we as spiritual people shouldn't cultivate this kind of consciousness. We should try to see everybody as our brother and sister. Here he's saying not only is he from India or Pakistan, or he's from Ireland or England, or he's from I don't know which nations have wars, Croatia and Serbia, all like this. No, this is not, this spiritual person doesn't see. He sees everybody. Of course, he understands there is some differences. And if someone attacks my house, I have to defend, of course. But still, we should try to develop this consciousness of Samadarshinaha. So when Shrutakirti Prabhu, I don't know, he's here, and he told me to speak, he told me this principle of Samadarshinaha. So, but he didn't tell me the word, Sanskrit word before. This concept is taken from this verse, and every verse has 4 lines, padas. So the last pada here is Pandita Samadarshinaha. Not only Samadarshinaha. Samadarshinaha means to see everybody with equal vision. As I said, in America, people will say to see everybody as brothers and sisters. But there is a word, in front, which is Pandita. So if you, Bhagavad Gita is saying, what you can get from Prabhupada, is that if you want to have such a vision, you have to be transcendental, and you have to be Pandita, learned. You have to be learned. You see, the first Prabhupada translate the humble sage. Pandita, he translated the humble sage. But sage means someone who is transcendental and someone who is learned. And then after in the purport, Prabhupada speaks that a learned transcendentalist, he doesn't see the difference. These differences of the bodies are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. So, if anybody in America, of all these 30 million of yoga people, 35 yoga Americans are doing yoga daily, or any of this New Age movement or any religious movements, if they really want to see everyone with their heart equally, to be equal, then they have to be learned, they have to have knowledge, understanding, and they have to be transcendental, spiritual. Otherwise, it's not possible. Like scientists, different scientists, physicists, they're saying when you go very, 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 very deep in the elements of the body, this body, then you will see they are just made out of empty space energy. 99.9% every atom is made out of empty space. And on that level, We are all the same. We are all made of energy. So scientists cannot listen, they can say that, but really, do they act towards others in this way? Do they really have this concept? Samadarshinaha, do they really have this in their heart? Do they really believe that? Do they really follow that and accept in their life? No, I don't think so. This is just theoretical. Many things can be theoretical if we don't practice them. If we don't put them into practice. So to put something into practice, it's called knowledge. Put knowledge into practice, you need to first have knowledge. So both of them are equally important. To get the knowledge, and find the knowledge, and then put it into practice. If you miss any of these stages, stage number one, step number one, get the knowledge, you will never develop anything, because you miss the knowledge, first step. But then if you miss the second step, to have knowledge without putting it in practice, then you will also not get this, what we all want. All of us here want to be happy. The qualification is to be sincere in the beginning. What Prabhupada explains in the first canto of Bhagavatam, you should uproot desires for enjoyment, and you should uproot from your heart this hope that you can be happy in material world. So anybody here who is sitting and thinking he can be happy in this world without Krishna, without God, without spirituality, then he cannot be really successful spiritualist. Then you're just kind of making show. For real progress, you have to be really, really convinced there is no happiness in this world. There is really no, you can't, without Krishna, without being spiritual, it's not possible to be happy. Whenever we cultivate, whenever we still have these hopes, no, I can be happy in this world. I can, without Krishna, things can go nicely in my life. And after my life, I can also enjoy, I can be satisfied. If you think in this way, you won't be successful in spiritual life. But if you understand that there is no other way, there is no hope without God, without Krishna, then you can make some success. And then you can sincerely inquire. When you suffer enough, and when you're fully convinced, then you will seek for the knowledge. And then you will get this knowledge, this amazing knowledge. And then if you're more sincere, which is based on foundation from the beginning, being sincere, if you suffered enough, if you're convinced, then you will put this knowledge into practice. So how is our knowledge? How many of us here, and how is our practice as well? How many of us here really understand deeply Krishna? How many of us here are really convinced there is no happiness in this world? There is no joy. How many of us here? We are doing certain things in life because of duty, which is kind of okay. But how many of us are, so we chant Hare Krishna or we pray to Jesus, today is his Easter. We just do this because of tradition. But so that's not big success. To follow something nicely, it's much more important than just doing it because of duty. So how many of us here are really convinced that there is no happiness in this world, real happiness, deep happiness which can fully satisfy the soul, except Krishna? How many of us believe that? That only Krishna can fully make us happy? One hand, two. Good, good. That's nice amount of hands. And then those who raise hands, we have to also ask us inside of ourselves, do I really fully believe that? That it's impossible for me to be fully happy in this world. Of course, there is some happiness, there is some pleasure, there is some joy. But what soul wants full happiness, full bliss. And this can be only fulfilled by the devotional service. Bhakti can only fully satisfy. So if we don't have this faith or we don't have this understanding, we will never put enough effort. We will never really work hard. Because like if I can be happy fully without working hard, because to get bhakti, Krishna will test you. To get bhakti is not that easy. So, but if you understand, this is my only hope. This is the only thing which can really make me happy. This is the only thing which I've been searching life after life. Then you're gonna put all your effort. Then you're gonna do everything that is possible. But if you think, oh, that's also cool, Bhakti is nice, Krishna is cool, ISKCON is cool, Prabhupada is cool, but there is also other things you can also. Then you will, of course, not put all the effort to get Bhakti. You will not be ready to go through all the tapasya and penances and austerities and all these things and just, okay, I just want Bhakti. You will not do this because you're not fully convinced. You don't have a faith that this is the only what can really. That means what it means. That means that you need to suffer more suffering in this world. As long as suffering will come and the lessons in life will come, as long as we don't understand what they hate, the spirituality is the only way. Krishna is the only way. Just to surrender to God. That's the only way. But this actually world is teaching us that. We don't think the material world is a bad place. It's a school. It's an educational institution teaching us what is our real position, what is our real home. So let's go back to this principle of Panditas Samadarshinaha. Not only Samadarshinaha, but you cannot have a transcendental vision of equality if you are not Pandita. Prabhupada translates like a humble sage. Pandita will be translated differently. We have here some of the so-called Sanskrit scholars. So how will we translated Pandita? By Sanskrit, literally. Markandeya Rishi, Prabhu, will you, what is the literal translation from the dictionary? Scholar. Yes, scholar, this is very, very broad translation. Prabhupada translated like a humble sage. Humble sage somehow fits more the purpose of Gita. As Prabhupada says, call it as it is. What Krishna wants to say. He really translates. But if you don't have this knowledge, everything starts with knowledge. If you don't have this knowledge, you can be the new age yoga, religious, you can be physicist, you can be everything, but you will not be able to see that. And then what it means? That you will have duality in your heart. And who wants duality? Who wants honor and dishonor? Who wants happiness and distress? Who wants all these things? Nobody of us here. We all want to have a life full of constant happiness, ever-increasing joyful moments. But we can't have that if we don't have an equal vision. If we differentiate between India and Pakistan, England, Ireland, Croatia and Serbia, and I don't know how many other nations are in the fight. Transcendentalists should be above that. And Prabhupada came to his guru. He told him, Prabhupada, our Acharya, he told him, you have to start preaching these teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada says, well, that's all cool. I don't think he used the word cool. At the time, I don't think that was this. Languages are alive. Languages are always changing based on the environment and situations. So I don't think 100 years back people were using the term cool. But Prabhupada said that's all okay, but first we have to kick out British people from India. Prabhupada was the follower of Gandhi, Mohan Gandhi, like your speaker tonight. Not follower, but same name. The Prabhupada was that time thinking that there is so many more important things to do than just to preach bhakti. But then Bhakti Siddhanta explaining, Bhakti Siddhanta was such a powerful Naishtika brahmachari that just by words coming out of his mouth struck Prabhupada so strongly. Prabhupada just at that moment completely dedicated his life. He told him, these all things are changing. Bharatvarsha, Moguls coming, British coming, India, this country, Pakistan, Bangladesh, it's all changing. And this will continue changing, keep changing in the future. But there is something which is unchangeable. Spirituality, bhakti, the nature of things which are spiritual nature. So when he told this to Prabhupada, ooh, that was just this statement struck him so strongly that he decided his life gradually. We should learn from Prabhupada's example also. Many young devotees just try to jump overnight into train for a Goloka Vrindavan spiritual world, and then few stations after they just go down back to old habits. We should go step by step, gradually. When we are 70 or 80, be ready to go to spiritual world. Gradually, maturely do things. So, Bhaktisiddhanta told him that all these things are changing. So if we also think in this way, this life, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Swami, he was saying something interesting. That in America, those people who were slave owners, who were having slaves, they kind of hate slaves, and the slaves hate them. But the next life, and they were born, many of these white slave owners, they were born as a black people. And the black people who were slaves, they were born as a white people, as slave owners. Because they were just thinking, that was in their consciousness, in that moment of dying, leaving the body. This is so funny. Or like I had a friend who is practicing kind of bhakti. He's Native American. So he's super attached to his Native American background, which is stopping him to be really Pandita Samadarshinaha. No, Bhakti Yoga is okay, but I have to take care of my people. I have to take care of my Native Americans, which is nice, but take care of them the spiritual way. Same thing, like, we became very much attached. One life you are a slave, next life you are the owner of slaves, and then you act in this way. One life you are a Native American, next life you are something. So why to be so passionate about all these ever-changing things? Better to accept some things which are of the nature of never changing. Spiritual nature is always same, but don't change. A material world. So we can, if we are attached to these ideas of the nations, doesn't mean that tomorrow, overnight, devotees are not fanatical and they are not telling you, okay, forget everything and just be spiritual. No. But time by time, we shouldn't hate somebody just because he is out of our tribe, out of our country. Is this really our country, or just this body come from that country? This body is Indians here, or a Latino, Mexican, or European body, but not you. You are not like this. Seems to be because of illusion, but it's not really like that. So we don't have an equal vision because we don't like others. We dislike others based on the racial, skin, tribe differences. And then how we can be happy if in your heart you're not equal to each one of your brother. You should see everybody as your brother and sister. Then you will be happy. But that's hard if you're not Pandita, humble sage. Not hard, it's impossible. The Prabhupada says in a purport, learned transcendentalists. So you have to be transcendentalist and you have to be learned. So knowledge, confirmation. So knowledge is essential. This is where we start. But knowledge, again, it's not the goal. Knowledge is a help, give us understanding, give us vision, where to go. The goal is to become spiritual, pure, and to start loving, appreciating. When you see others to suffer, you should feel some pain. When you see others happy, you should feel happy because he's happy. What we feel? We feel envy. When we feel somebody is happy, we feel envy. Why is he happy? Why myself is not happy? Instead of feeling happiness, we feel miserable, feel envy. That's because we are not Pandita Samadarshina. So it's a very important principle. My point here is that it starts with knowledge. My dear devotees, we have to cultivate knowledge of bhakti. We should study Shastra, but we should also practice it. We should try to see everybody. When you go tonight, when you go home and you're gonna sleep, before sleeping, try to think, how many people do you hate? How many nations do you hate? Or how many people do you dislike? Just because they told you something or they look different. Then you will find problems in your amount of happiness. The Pandita Samadarshina, when someone has this concept, he is extremely happy. Because why? Because we have to understand the principle of happiness, Paramatma in the heart. This concept of Pandita Samadarshina, it's very pleasing to Krishna. Because Krishna is in your heart, Paramatma will make you satisfied. Whenever you feel anxiety or fear or anything negative, it's because you're doing something wrong. Misconceptions and disliking people, hating people. They say Narottam Das Thakur, his vision of Samadarshina was so strong. Sometimes when he saw some people in the pain, he fainted. Can you imagine? Others' pain was such a great distress for him that he just fainted. He lost his consciousness. How do we feel when we see others? We are devotees, we chant, so our heart should be soft. But we should feel also something similar. Like Radharani also in the story of Radha Kund. There was, I think, jackal. Jackal was suffering, the baby jackal. And then devotees of Radharani, they give help and then they say that nobody should suffer in this land of Radhika. This is the nature of purified souls. They don't like see suffering. They just not, this is why devotees are preaching, because they see how others are suffering. And we don't want to see. Even Lord Chaitanya is asking everybody to help him to deliver the fruits of bhakti, because he can't do it alone, he said. Other side of the bridge, material world, many people are suffering. They can be rich or poor, doesn't matter. This is one of more misconceptions we have when we do this, when we judge or do this discrimination. Someone is rich, oh, he probably doesn't suffer. Poor people, they suffer. Of course, more maybe. But I have seen I have met some super rich people, and the amount of anxiety that they have, I have never seen in poor people. I've never seen so much anxiety in poor people, like they have the rich people. So when they ask Prabhupada once something about giving out something spiritual, either prasadam or something to these poor people, Prabhupada says, no. We understand that everybody suffers equally. Prabhupada was able to see that poor and rich people suffer equally because they don't have Krishna. Sooner or later, it will be just seen to everybody that super rich person, whoever he is, it suffers equally, if not more, like poor person. So our discrimination shouldn't be in that regard. Is black or white, poor or rich, fat or skinny, or whatever else. So I can help this one or others. If we have desire to help others, that's good for the beginning. But what is this principle saying? Pandita Samadarshinaha, that we see everybody on this planet worthy of our love, worthy of our help. Everybody, no matter where he is. If you will have this consciousness, first of all, you will be super happy. You will be blissful, ananda. Because you will please Krishna with that. Like they say once, I don't know if I told you this, when I was very young devotee, I was president. So I was having many guests, Prabhupada disciples coming to my temple. And when you're president, you always talk with them. Sannyasis. There was this one Prabhupada disciple, I don't remember who was that exactly, but I remember the story, it was so powerful. He says when Becky, I think in the Mayapur of Vrindavan, he was coming in the room to bring something to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was inside of the room. So he knocked the door and nobody answered. And he knew Prabhupada is inside. So he knocked again, nothing. The third time he knocked, nobody answered. He decided I'm going in because he was something important to give to Prabhupada. So he entered inside and he saw Prabhupada actually. Prabhupada was inside, but staring in the window, staring like completely motionless, like frozen, staring at something. And he said, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. And then he stopped because he know I knocked already, I'm calling him, he's not saying anything, better I don't interfere. Who knows what's happening with Prabhupada now? Maybe he's in Rasa Lila, maybe who knows what he's doing something, maybe his spiritual work. And then he just decided to sit. And he says, okay, I'll just wait and let's see what Prabhupada decides. So in one moment he just sit and then he was whispering Maha Mantra, chanting very talented. In one moment, Prabhupada didn't turn, he just started talking. And he says, just look, he is hungry. Take him out. And then he looked to this new disciple and called him. He was like confused. Like, who is hungry? Who should I take out? What's happening? He got closer to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was all the time staring at the frame of the window, looking at a small bug. It was not cockroach, it was some bug. And by observing him, Prabhupada saw that this bug is hungry. Like, I don't know how many minutes took Prabhupada to observe that and to conclude it. So he said, please take this bug out and give him some food. So in this state of consciousness, this is Pandita Samadarshana. In this, when you have compassion for everybody in such a big amount, your life is super blissful. You are feeling such a huge amounts of love in your heart that this love just completely overflow your heart, overflow your consciousness. What we are more selfish, we are more distressed, more miserable. What we are more loving and selfless, then our consciousness is just completely overflowed with bhakti emotions, with pure spiritual emotions, and then we are happy. So this devotee Prabhupada disciple, I forget what was his name, who was telling me this story when he was young. He said, how beautiful is to have such a consciousness. I wish one day I will have such a consciousness, he told me. That I can be so compassionate to everybody and that I can just feel such a love. He says, in that state of consciousness, you're just floating in life. You're just completely ecstatic. We like to use term ecstatic in ISKCON, although not many of us are ecstatic as we struggle due to not having proper understanding of things and not properly practicing things. But at least we are on the way, which is nice, which is cool. So try to have the Pandita Samadarshinaha. Try to have Samadarshinaha, but if you're not Pandita, it will be hard. If you're not learned transcendentalist. So which means the point is that we have to start being Pandita. It's time. Too much, not scholar, humble sages, Prabhupada says, or learned transcendentalists. But how many years has passed in our life? How many rounds of japa we have chanted? Huh? So far, Mataji is chanting here. How many rounds of each one of us? Thousands and thousands and thousands. Is it our heart changed? Do we start feeling love for everybody? I hope you feel. I can feel some glimpse. I grasped very little into this beautiful Samadarshinaha consciousness, this conception. And I can feel from my very low level, it's a beautiful. What was the best feeling you ever had in your life, many of you? Once you get in love, when you are like, in love in some person, for the first time, I don't know when was that in your life, but people say you can hear a violin from heaven, you start feeling butterflies in your stomach, all these amazing things. So we connect how we are excited. We are excited And that was not even pure love. Far from that, it was mostly arose by lust. But then you start feeling, and but still, we remember this as the most beautiful state of consciousness, most like exciting thing. But when you start feeling really love, when you start really experiencing love towards others and towards Krishna, it is pure consciousness. Oh, it's like million times much powerful. And then imagine when you have a sama darshinaha consciousness, when you see equally everybody, and when you start loving Krishna, and everybody is part of Krishna, so then naturally you will start loving everybody. Can you imagine how many violins you're gonna hear then, huh? How many butterflies you're gonna have in the stomach? And this will be a pure love on the real spiritual foundation of a knowledge and of the purity. How are you gonna feel then? Whenever we met our husband and wife first time, we were so excited with such a beautiful feelings. But then can you imagine that you love everybody with the same intensity, if not more? Everybody on this planet. Everybody. Everybody is your brothers and sisters. Everybody is part of Krishna. Physicists see that we are all brothers and sisters because of energy. We see that we are all part of Krishna because everybody is. That we are all brothers and sisters because we are all part of Krishna. That's a different approach, but same understanding. And hippies and New Age, they see that also. We are all equal because we are all gods. We are all children of God. But it's the same understanding. So can you imagine once you're gonna love Krishna like Lord Chaitanya loved Krishna? Oh, he was on this Mahabharata level. Out of the step, there is a steps. There is a ladder from first to ninth level, and that ninth level of prema is divided again on the eighth level, and the final level is called Mahabharata. So Lord, this is not approachable to us based on the Shastra. We can come to the even if you come to just prema, we should be super happy. But just because philosophy-wise, Lord Chaitanya was on the eighth level of prema, Mahabharata. So his love for everybody was almost insane from the angle of modern psychology, let's say, and from the angle of many people. His love was so intense, just almost unbearable. Love in separation. Love in separation is always higher than love on the side with the person. It's always more intense, emotional stuff. When is he coming? When is she coming? When I'm gonna see him? When? That was the question of Goswamis. When will my Lord come? So it will be hard to love Krishna and deities and his devotees as Lord Chaitanya loved, but at least that we develop some purity in heart. And that we start having this equal vision to everybody, because everybody is part of Krishna, and there is a Paramatma in the heart of everyone. So the same Krishna that we are talking in is inside of our heart. Next to Atma and Paramatma. Paramatma is just observing. It's inactive. While Atma is very active. It's us getting influenced. Modes, senses, and other things. So, my dear friends and devotees, 6:30, I think that should be the end of my class. Yeah, try to be transcendental, try to be lunar transcendentalist by getting the knowledge and by practicing that knowledge. Otherwise, life will kick you again harder and harder. Once you understand, it's time for me to really get serious. It's time for me to really leave this world once for all. If you don't have this burning desire to leave this world, you will not leave this world. If you have a burning desire, you have to work hard. Then there is a way to go out. So, Pantita Samadarshinaha. Try to treat everybody equally, try to love everybody equally, try to help everybody equally in this world, then you will be happy. You will be very happy if you will be able to do that. Hare Krishna. So, any question or comment? My friend Kirti Vasan always has question, but today I don't see him here. Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. Did everybody hear his question? Have you heard? He says for those who are, for us who live in this world and who start practicing spirituality, how we can really try to see what is the practical steps to see everything equally, because there is very often difference in opinion and so many differences. So I consider personal knowledge, cultivating the knowledge, to really go deep. I give this example like Einstein. Einstein was just mathematician. Tesla, my neighbor, my country. He was also a mathematician. Just, but was he the same mathematician just like all the other ones? No, what was his success? He was able to go very deep into mathematics and physics. We are all devotees here. What makes us more advanced or less advanced? Some of those who are very advanced, they are able to go very, very, very deep into practice. This is what makes you successful more or less in anything what you do in your life, like mathematicians, physicists. So we have to somehow try to practice this spiritual process really like sincerely, really sincerely, like not just because of, okay, I have to chant my rounds and I have to read something, but then after I have my life. No, like 24 hours we should try to be fully, really like Krishna. Like, just take this principle, everybody of you here, Samadarshinaha, and try to next 1 week, whenever you go to your job, whenever you go to wherever you go, try to actually see everybody equally. Try to see everybody. Who do you love the most in your life? Those who are married, let's say your husband or wife. Those who have children, you will say, my children. Those who are mother and father, they'll say, my children. Those who are children, they say, my mother and father. And somebody will say, my brother. I love my brother the most. I know my wife is always saying she likes her brother the most, more than her husband. I'm joking. I'm joking. So if you love your brother the most, or if you love your husband the most, try to have the same. Try to have the same love for everybody. Try to really see that everybody is your brother. Because how do you treat your brother? For example, you, Govind Prabhu. You treat your brother with so much of love and care. So if you see everybody as your brother, you will treat them so amazingly. And guess what? Krishna will be so pleased. Because Krishna sees that the person who you meet on the street, that he is your real brother, that he is your brother. You don't see, or I don't see that, because we think my brother is just who biologically. But actually, no. Everybody is our brother and sister because they're all children of Krishna. So you will see how your life will be transformed. Or you mothers, whoever is mother here, try to see every person as your kid, as your child. How much love you will give to everybody. My Guru Maharaj was always saying these things, I remember. Try to treat everybody the same way how you treat person who you love the most. That's not easy. The Prabhuji association, it's essential. It's so important, guys, that you search for advanced devotees, advanced spiritual people. There is not many of them, but to have association, sangha of these advanced people. Wow. When you're just with advanced people, everything is clear to you. Everything. If you don't offenses. If you do offenses, then things are even more confused. So whenever you have something valuable in your life, you have to be very careful. Because you can mess up things. Someone give you a check on $1 million, take from one person to others, you get half. You'll get something super valuable. Ooh, what will I do? And then you can just mess up everything. Then you can even owe the money. So whenever you're near to the big personalities, we have to be careful how we serve them, how we try to make them happy and please them, and how we inquire. And then they will be merciful because just talking the other day with this Sanskrit scholar, the Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that everything is Madhura Kadambini. Madhyama Bhaktas, Madhyama Bhaktas. Krishna is so confident with devotees, especially with Madhyamas. With Kanishtas, of course, he loves everyone. With Kanishtas, I don't think he's that comfortable to give them a right to distribute bhakti. Bhakti is distributed by Madhyama devotees. Can you imagine? Bhakti is like a chains which bound Krishna. It's a chains of love. But still, what devotee says, Krishna follows. So Krishna gives Madhyamas freely. Okay, you can give to whatever you feel, whoever. Madhyamas have knowledge. They have a knowledge. They are these learned transcendentalists. They have this deep vision of love. Still, they can due to knowledge they can discriminate to who give to not to give. So to show this effort and to inquire from these advanced devotees, Prabhuji, that's like very, very important. So yeah, try to next week from today, from tomorrow, remember this was my class and what I was saying, and try to treat people around yourself. And this is the best preaching. We always talk about preaching. We always talk about how to help others. But just show this beautiful example. Show how you are like a walking encyclopedia and walking love. Like when you walk, you're just emanating love. This is why actually people became, recently I met, like last few months, I met many Prabhupada disciples. And they are in some challenges of life. And they are in some hard situations. But they are after how many years? When Prabhupada left 42 years back, I think. They are still impressed with his personality. They are still completely dedicated their life to this personality. They are still completely dedicated to him and completely amazed. Why? Because Prabhupada he was the example of what all of this what we are talking. He was emanating love. People just come once and see him and feel him or whatever, and they were like completely impressed. So if you want to do preaching, we should be like this. All this philosophy, all these things or whatever we speak or say sometimes, it's just dry words. People want to feel that we are not fake. Today there is so many fake things, fake news and other things. But people want to see the real example. People want to feel that you really emanate with bhakti. I say love, but it means bhakti. And then people will be on your job. Many of you, sometimes you bring prasadam on the job, you bring books, you take person to the class, you do different things. But actually this example, when people feel, wow, what this guy have. Wow, this is, I have never felt. People say that when they come to Prabhupada, all these young hippies and other, we have never experienced something like this in life. Such an amount of bliss, purity. Purity was so strong. Some of them says it was almost scary. Like you get scared. What is this? I never experienced something like this. So if you want to impress people, if you want to help people, if you want to preach to people, just be amazing, loving example. But a real one, just really emanate this. Because people are fed up anymore with the fake spiritualists, with the fake news, with the fake everything fake. They want to really see, wow, he's really spiritual. He's really amazing because I can feel. He's just like melting and he's just crying and he just wants to help. So try to do this for 1 week on your job, on your school, on your college. I mean, you don't have to cry if you don't feel this, but just try to see Samadarshinaha. Try to see everybody equally, that they are all your brothers and sisters. Try to treat everybody. Try to treat everybody as, because they are. Everybody is originally spiritual. Everybody is coming from Krishna, like you. We are all spiritual energy, emanation. So you will not think the wrong way if you act like this. But people will be impressed and you will be happy. So try to treat everybody as your brothers and sisters, fully. And if you try this, you will be tested. Krishna will test you, your endeavor. Krishna will test your desire, your attempt to be better devotee. Krishna will test this test, but you want to pass this test. So just keep going. Keep going, yes. Is that okay, Prabhuji? Any other question? Yes.
I have a dilemma.
Excuse me, you have?
A doubt.
Yeah, cool.
I have a rose plant at home. Beautiful flowers that offer at home. This morning, I was plucking the flowers and I noticed a lot of afternoon.
Yeah.
When I came to take the plant, I was literally, I looked down the apple. There must have been hundreds of plants.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing to mind that time and thinking, what could I have done differently? Was it wrong to have a plant at home because you decided to offer flowers? What should I have done?
This is more like a biological question, but I'll try to answer. Knowledge, again, you always come to the knowledge. It's crucial. The opposite of the knowledge, on the other side of knowledge, we find ignorance. Ignorance is associated with doubts, with different things, and things which are happening. So again, as I was saying to Prabhuji, we have to associate with people, spiritual people with knowledge, the panditas, the learned transcendentalists, and then they will help us to, for doubts, leave our hearts and minds. So thank you for asking your question. That's the way. This is what we should do. Inquire what to do. So biologically talking, you should just you should have a plant, maybe outside. Was it outside or inside? When you have plant outside, I also have many plants. I have many flowers at my home, and I offer them to Krishna daily. As I said with the example, next week we will all try to be more Krishna conscious, and we'll try to be more brotherly, sisterly to others. And then I said we will be tested. So whenever you try to do some service, Krishna will test you. So don't give up to have roses again. You have to do it. You just have to find how to do it. Find different ways. Find a different plantation soil and different ways so that you can avoid possible problems. But when you were saying this, what came to my mind, you should always serve Krishna actually. No matter what happened, don't give up. For example, sometimes in life we are hurt. Our husband hurt us, our friend. You are friend with someone for 10 years, and then you find out this person talks behind your back and stab you and do something and then just hurt you so hard. So then what is our conclusion? Deductive. I study psychology at the moment, so I learn many of these things. The conclusion is you got hurt by friends, so I don't want to be hurt, which means I don't need to have friends anymore. Is this the right conclusion? No, it's not. It just means you need to have friends. You need to have roses. You just have to find the ways how to have properly healthy relationship with friends and healthy plantation of roses. You just have to find. So don't give up of having plans. There is thousands of people having roses offering to Krishna, and they somehow are able to avoid. They also have some problems. I also had some problems. Scorpions sometimes will come because a lot of water. Or better let me not serve Krishna anymore because these guys are coming. Let me just be in the house and just think and not serve Krishna because Scorpio will come and there is the water there. No, we have to. When you put water, there will be grass, and then scorpions will come there. No matter any obstacles are there, we keep continuing serving Krishna. It's not easy always. It's not cheap and it's not easy to serve Krishna because Krishna will test us. He will give us all these situations where we have to pass the test, like when you're in college. So yeah, like when you said how when you pick up everything and you find below all these things, what is in our heart? this thought came to my mind. Many years we don't look at our heart. Oh, I have to work, I have to take care of children, I have to take care of school, I have to take care of so many things. And then we don't look at our heart. In one moment we take the plant out, one moment we open our heart, and we find inside thousands of cockroaches, thousands of impurities, thousands of so many mean things. So this is when you were talking about your plant, this is what came to my mind. How often do we look at our heart? How often do we clean our plantation of roses in our heart? How often? How often do this is roses are important over to Krishna, but our heart is more important. Roses of our hearts, petals which we offer to Krishna from our heart. So I always say when I give classes, just let us be all more spiritually sincere, more spiritually advanced. Let us, because life is passing by, death and jara, mrityu and jara will come soon. So if you're not sincere, you'll have to take birth again, we have to suffer again, we have to have pain again, and all these unnecessary things, which we can just decide to be spiritual and avoid suffering, avoid pain. It's actually up to us. Do you want to avoid pain and suffering, or you still want to suffer? No, I still want to suffer. I still want to have some pain. I want to stay in this room more. This is actually how we act. We don't think in this way, but we act in this way. Because we are not getting serious. That means we want to stay in this world. Is that okay? It's a little bit longer. I study biopsychology, actually. Biopsychology, but not the biology, but some I know because I also have many plants. But yeah, keep going. You just keep going. Serving Krishna, get 3 more plants, but just look daily, regularly for scorpions and for all the other problems you can have. Okay? Hare Krishna. So I think that's all. Thank you all so much. Don't forget, I gave you the homework, the assessment, which is due next Sunday. You have to treat the people around you for the following week as your brothers and sisters. You have to really treat them like you really care for them, like you really, anybody who you meet. Krishna will send you interesting people, you will see. Krishna will really send interesting people if you really have this attitude, just to test your eagerness to really treat everybody loving and caring as Prabhupada did to some very advanced, purified souls. Okay, so don't forget your homework, and you can give your results next Sunday. And come here. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.